Hello, everybody. We are here at ASGCT, and it starts tonight. We're very excited to have been helping a whole bunch of clients here on the show floor exhibit at ASGCT 2025, and I'm here with one of my partners. His name is Brian, and you are with?
I am Brian Conlin with Medium Event Marketing.
You make dreams come true.
I try to make dreams come true, yes. We build, design exhibits to make our clients stand out on the show floor, which is hard to stand out amongst all this chaos.
Absolutely, it is. We are in a very unique situation because together, I think we have 5 or 6 booths together?
Six exhibits, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I thought one thing we could talk about was why it's important to come to shows like ASGCT.
This is a place where you can cut some of the clutter of all of the social media, all of the other marketing things that everybody does. Trade show is a place where we come to see what's new.
It's really important for us to have a moment to connect with people, partly because there's a lot of things that are very digitized these days, and we're having to deal with a lot of course, the trends of AI, and that seems to almost disconnect a lot of us, doesn't it?
I think just going back to that, the pandemic really taught us how much we need to be with each other. So after the pandemic, live events started happening, and it was like a floodgate opened, and everybody just needed to come back together and be at these shows. And all of the show venues are kind of expanding their space, and that's because trade shows are more important now than ever.
I absolutely agree. And they're growing year over year.
Absolutely.
So if anybody attended ASGCT in the last few years and it comes this year, I want to say maybe 50% larger than it was 3 years ago?
Yeah, we're in 3 halls at this show.
One of my questions I have for you, Brian, and you help us with this all the time at Medium Event Marketing, trying to plug it.
Thank you.
We have to differentiate, don't we? We have to differentiate all these clients, all these companies coming into big halls like this one this year. As we just said, it's a big show. What kind of things can we do to differentiate our booths?
I've been in this industry for 30 years. I know I don't look that old, but it's true. You know, one of the things that I've noticed is some of our clients have moved away from owning their exhibits, where you get really custom built exhibits that are really unique. And we're kind of doing these frames that everybody can rent and then stretching fabric over it. So it's really important to do some different techniques and incorporate different things into your structure to stand out. Also, the flow of, knowing where you're at on the show floor, which way your exhibit should face, how are people coming into the space, what is the main aisle. So it's really important for us to listen to our client.
We're about telling stories together. And I think the tactile elements of the booths are a lot of fun for us.
Yeah.
We love to incorporate both digital and these tactile elements, as you guys can see behind us, and we have a bunch of things going on. There's a lot of interesting things that we're trying to do to differentiate organizations, but as you said, we have to listen to what the organizations require, and a lot of them will need meeting spaces.
That's true.
But we want to make these booths as welcoming and as engaging as possible to attend to the different kind of personalities that are at these shows. We have some folks that want to engage. We have other folks that just want to walk around the show and just kind of absorb what they see. So it has to both be informational, but also engaging, yeah?
Yeah, and also technology is, as in every part of our lives, I'm definitely present on the show floor and how you use the technology in your space. Everything's sort of getting a little passé, like having a video, a monitor, versus a LED wall. A lot of these things are, relating to your budget. But how you use them, it doesn't make sense just to do an LED wall because it's cool. It has to have purpose, and that brings value.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Here's a question, though, that everybody might be interested in hearing.
All right.
How much time would it really take to produce a well-executed custom booth, and regardless of the size?
When we are first having a call with a client, we try to be realistic about timelines, because ultimately the more time we have, the better your experience is going to be all the way throughout the process, but certainly on the show floor. So I think 2 to 4 months is a good window of time that's reasonable. We can certainly work faster than that if we need to, but more time than that is going to yield a better result in terms of having a really finished, well thought out project that's designed well functionally, structurally, but also giving Inveniv and your branding agency plenty of time to bring it all together.
I think it's a reflection of an organization's brand and their personality if they put a lot of effort into the details.
Absolutely.
To telling a great story, making it very welcoming, making the organization feel accessible.
Yes.
Those sorts of things are great personality attributes as a brand, and they should be reflective of the business as well. So going into a booth that feels like it's well organized and things are very orchestrated and you feel like you're being taken care of, I mean, that just makes people feel like more trusted. So hopefully that shortens the sales cycle and gets you guys more business.
You can really tell as you walk around the show floor which exhibitors really took the time with their exhibit house and their marketing agency to be well intentioned with every decision that you make. And then you can see the ones that are like, oh shoot, we're going to ASGCT in a month and we don't have anything. And
by the way, we do feel for you. We walk around the show floor and they just stand out, and hopefully next time you can call folks like us and we'll help you out. Hanging signs.
Hanging signs?
Hanging signs. What is the value of a hanging sign at these shows? People spend a lot of money on the booth,
They
so
do.
Why spend any more on one more thing, right?
Hanging signs are critical in that you enter the space, and it also depends on the size of the show. If you're at a smaller show and you have a hanging sign where maybe 3 or 4 other exhibitors have a hanging sign, then you can really stand out. But at some of these larger shows like Bio, this show has gotten very large. Everybody seems to have hanging signs.
Yeah.
So then it's about, okay, what does our hanging sign look like? What height are we putting it at? Because everybody wants to go as high as possible, but if everybody goes to that 16 foot to the bottom, depending upon the venue, then maybe you want to go a little bit lower so that you are still visible. So I think hanging signs are really important. We can do a lot with hanging signs that really enhance the overall design of the booth.
I feel like the first part is it's a marker, and these large shows, it's really hard to find your way.
It is.
So if you're looking for that familiar brand, it's great to see it from 100 yards out. And then the really big shows, you can see that when they're positioned correctly. And if they're used also correctly, you can also put your category into the hanging sign as well. So it's not just about a logo.
True.
It's about saying, what are you here for? But one big thing I think about all these signs in general is their expense. And so I'm just curious, can you save money if you buy it and can get to repurpose it from each show to show?
You definitely can. The graphic is the big expense, depending upon the hanging sign. You want it to be something that you're going to stick with for 3 to 5 shows, and then it will be worthwhile. I don't think it makes sense to change your sign every show. And it doesn't. I mean, if you have a strong brand, you're not going to do that anyway.
I thought it might be interesting for us to talk about how we work together.
We work very well together.
We work very, very well together. There are things that we both bring to the table.
Yeah.
And I think one massive element is, our organization is not a set of engineers. We certainly don't know what kind of products are out there. We come to you with an organization that does want to convey a specific type of story, and then you help figure out how to bring that to life for us. So I thought maybe we should just talk through what the process might look like from working together and how the organizations can work with us.
Both of us are experts in what we do, truthfully. And I say that. I used to not say that, but I say it now. I've done this for 30 years. Aaron will sometimes come to us and say, I have this great idea. And he'll do some sketches, which I love that. But then I have to reel him in and say, Aaron, this is a trade show.
What's real?
This whole thing, if we're designing a permanent structure, it's totally different than something that has to break down, be within show regulations, be as lightweight as possible, and interesting as possible. People will come to us with an idea, often a sketch, and I love that. Like I said, I'm very creative myself.
Yeah.
But I also know, okay, this is like what we're trying to do, so maybe we alter something slightly that makes it more realistic, more budget friendly, and that is within show regulations.
You are very attentive to what we're trying to accomplish, though, and I do appreciate that quite a bit. And then at times you've given us options where we didn't think about what kind of elements could bring it all together to make it feel very holistic and maybe feel like you're living a brand. Everything from the types of materials that we're using, if they're organic or if they're metal, things like that, or if they're just finding the right kind of selection of furniture. People don't realize those little details really add up. And after a while, once you do it and all works out together, people think it's just second nature. But for us,
True.
We're really putting a lot of effort into it, yeah.
Totally true. I mean, I don't expect, the reason that we come several days before the show begins is so when our client does show up, we don't want them to know all of the headaches that happen during setup. For example, yesterday in this particular booth, everything's done, beautiful. I'm like, this one's done. And then we noticed that a forklift went over the flooring and destroyed part of the flooring. So we had to cut the flooring and splice it together. So these are all things that happen, and they're just going to happen. That's the business. We try to work together to avoid the client from being stressed out.
So I think that just in short, our process starts off with the discovery. We want to make sure that we understand what the clients are looking to accomplish, and it could be very logistics driven. It could say, we just need to make sure we have a conference room for 6 people, and we also want to make sure there's a reception area and a closet and that kind of thing. And that certainly is a good place to start. We'd love to know a bigger vision from that, like what's the big message going to be about, what's the theme, so when people walk by your booth, you put a lot of effort into this. We want folks to like feel all that effort and know that what your story is going to be valuable to them. We want to hear all that. And I think then from there, we can come back to you guys with a whole sorts of ideas. And Brian's right. We've gotten ourselves into all sorts of like shenanigans. I've used that word twice now. Just putting some sketches down on paper just to start the process. But you do help us reel it in to figure out what would be safe, what would be repurposable, what would be realistic. But when it does come together, and it does come together a whole bunch of times each year, it's just magic. I would say it's really magic. We really try to think about all the details. Every little corner down to every little moment has something that we had to make sure we made a decision on, and that it really did work for the brand in the best of ways. Our big goal here is to help you guys not only make a great customer experience, but try to make a really great prospect experience too. It's not about just meeting your customers who you're working with right now. It's about making a great first impression for the folks that you've never met before.
I also want to just say something about budget. People don't understand trade show budgets, and there are different budgets, like different sort of bins to take budget from within most companies. There's our budget to build and design the exhibit and produce the graphics, and then there's rigging and show service costs. But really, that, as Aaron said, we can design an exhibit that's effective and well done within any budget, and that's the truth. Any reasonable budget, I should say.
With that, we are excited to be here for the next few days. So if you are in New Orleans and you happen to be at ASGCT and you happen to see Brian or I, please say hello. We'd love to say hello to you too. We could show you around some of the booths that we've created this year. I hope you have a great show. Thank you for joining me.
Enjoy New Orleans.
Love it. We're going to see you guys again at Bio. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.